Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to Season 12 Division 2B Recap. We don't act. Oh, I've put in the title that with Lord Wu, but actually he's not here at the moment, so he might turn up halfway through. We'll see. But with my special guest, Gruff, in the as a say hello.
Hello. Hello. I was letting you finish.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of didn't really finish very well. That was my usual concise sentence building.
We're all used to your style by now, so it's fine.
Oh, thanks. Style is perhaps a strong word. Anyway, so Gruff, you and me are in a few leagues together. Have you been playing Blood Bowl for a long time?
Uh, so I think I've been playing it again for close to 2 years now. Before that, I'd maybe had a 25-year gap.
Same as me, like second edition player with the polystyrene board type thing.
No, so I came in like early third edition probably.
Okay.
I just I don't know, as a 9 or 10-year-old kid, I really liked Games Workshop stuff.
Mhm.
Convinced my dad to take me in, and anything and everything I could get, I just made him buy me. Which sounds really spoiled, but yeah. But then I had the problem of having no one to play it with. So yeah, that's why I probably didn't really play much Blood Bowl as a kid, and then saw Blood Bowl 1 when it was on Steam, and oh yeah, that game, I'll give it. Couldn't work out how to get into multiplayer from there, so I just played a few games versus the AI, and then didn't touch it again. Then Blood Bowl 2 was on a sale. I picked it up again. I was like, yeah, this is fun. I think then found like UK BBL and started there. Like I say, it's maybe a year and a half since that.
And you play a bit of tabletop as well, right? So you started playing tabletop after you started playing BB2.
Yeah, just to try and I fully admit that I'm not that great at this game. So any chance to play a bit more and hopefully improve is good. So I'm in a local league here in Bergen, and yeah, I mean the first season of that it's like a match a month, so we're 9 months into the new season and about to go into playoffs. Again, my team's done terribly, but it's the first season at Norse team, so what can you do?
Oh well, first season Norse is supposed to be are pretty good, I think. Although I guess if you're against some big teams.
Yeah, I had Chorfs that were 1500 TV. And despite my best efforts with Boomer, I think in that match I fumbled a bomb and basically blew up my own defense on my drive.
As
yeah.
is any bomber's way.
But it was a fun match.
And you said you actually told me off stream that your tabletop league has like what was it 3 of the Norwegian international team or whatever.
Yeah, I think 4 of them, or no, hold on, let's think. Thernlow's in it, who is in this division as well, and he is sort of like Team Norway Junior.
In fact, Thernlow's who I'm playing directly after this recap.
Yep. And there's 4 or 5 other people from the Norwegian team or have played on the Norwegian team there, so it's a good place to try and.
Yeah. And so, do you just have Norse as your tabletop team? Have you done what I've done, which is basically buy loads of teams, not necessarily to play them?
I have, let's think, 1 team painted and 4 or 5 unpainted at the moment. All that have been bought within the last 9 months.
I mean, that's rookie numbers. You need to pump those numbers up. Is what I'm. my unpainted box is most of my teams. I think I have.
Yeah.
I have 2 teams that are painted, and I have played them both at UK BBL, and Gav has had goes at me for how not painted enough they are both times. Apparently, basically 2 colours with a little bit of dry brushing is not enough.
Yeah, so last weekend, it was one of the big tournament weekend here in Bergen. They was put on a 2-day tournament in.
Oh, is that the pouring rain one?
Yeah. So we had like Andy Dave and a few others over, which was quite fun. Pidpad, Scald, yeah. But I panic painted my team sort of for a week and a half.
That's the best way to paint, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but it did turn out pretty good, so I'm happy enough with them. I'll tidy them up at some point, and then maybe take one of the other teams to force me into painting them next year.
Yeah. I don't mean best. I mean actually worst. But actually, the only way that any of my models get painted is the Thursday before a weekend tournament. In my experience so far.
Well, considering I had to go and buy all the paints, brushes, and everything the week before.
I quite enjoy actually painting when I've started. It's like getting into a bath, Like it takes me a while to kind of get ready and really want like when you're a kid actually getting into a bath when you're a kid and your parents want you to get in the bath and you're like, I don't want to, and then once you're in it, you sit in it for 2 hours. I'm like that with painting. It's like it takes me a while to get everything set up, but once I start painting, I quite enjoy it.
No, I was the same. Once I'd started, the first evening where I could actually start to see things happening with them as I kind of got the paint on a bit more, that was it. The next 3 evenings, it was 4 or 5 hours straight after work into it.
Cool. Okay, so should we actually start this recap?
Yeah, rather than the little chit chat.
Yeah,
nice as it is.
It was good. I like hearing about people and stuff, and especially you and me. As I said, we play in like 3-4 different leagues, I think, together. So it's really interesting to hear about your opponents and stuff. But anyway, all right, let's crack on with the schedule. And you've watched most of these as replays, at least, right? You said.
Yeah. I've probably watched the top 4 on that list. Half of the Camry one.
Cool.
And yeah, I know the highlights of yours.
And you played yours, so that's pretty much everything. I have done hardly any preparation for this, but hopefully I've hidden that well enough. I fast forwarded through Orcs the Ridiculous and the Lizards. And in fact, I thought it would be funny to actually show that. So I've the first clip I've got is of the Orcs against Lizards, and their first drive, and it starts with the Lizards getting a blitz on the Orcs. But basically, what I'm doing, I'm not actually showing very much. I'm fast forwarding through the turns, so you can see the whole of the half in, I don't know, about 4 seconds. No, maybe 20 seconds, I guess. So it starts with the Lizards getting a blitz, getting their Agi 4 skink underneath the ball, and then but he's not actually in a cage, so he gets hit, and I think that's where he got badly hurt. And then the Orcs get control of the ball. They get it gets sacked from them once, and the ball moves back a little bit, but generally they move forward over the 8 turns pretty reliably, let's say, and then score at the end of the 8th turn. There wasn't really much worth clipping in terms of a play or anything that I saw from what I was looking at.
What I would say with the Lizards drive the Lizards blitz, I think that blitz actually made the situation worse for them, because he ended up committing all the skinks even into that little huddle. He couldn't properly protect them, so it was quite easy for the Orcs to kind of sack the ball because of all the strength up. So in a way, it kind of backfired.
Yeah, no. In fact, that's what I was thinking about, the fact that the Agi 4 skink got badly hurt from then. I think was, if it hadn't been for the blitz, he probably wouldn't have hung the Agi 4 out to dry. So, like the Agi 4 was basically in a totally blitzable position. Oh, I'm pointing at things, but then I realised that you can't actually see on the stream what I'm pointing at because. But yeah, so the Agi 4, there wasn't a proper cage around him. So essentially, the Orcs' first action was to hit Agi 4, which I don't think they would have got a chance for a few turns to do. So you're right. I do think they ended up putting their team in more danger over the long term.
I think he also had. I know on that blitz the Crocs went bonehead, which didn't help because I mean maybe if that Crocs had come over, it might have given a bit more. And I think on one of the turns after that as well, there was another bonehead. So on defense, the Crocs wasn't that much use because as soon as it got the bonehead, it was just pinned over on that other side with a couple of orcs and was taken out.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's not really much else to say about this game. Is there anything about the second half you want to talk about?
I think the Lizards played it well. I mean, they were fortunate that most of the removals were KOs and things, so they still had, I think, 10 or 11 on their own drive. But Sam Beatty played it really nicely with getting the ball down at the right time and just kind of delayed it for as long as he could. Oh, at the end, I think the Orcs had 2 turns left.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I think Ed ended up making some GFIs that he didn't necessarily need. I think he went to put like a line orc or something in as the scoring threat, but he had he's got a plus movement blitzer and he's got other pieces that would have been better for doing that, and basically lost his ability to score by failing some GFIs with a line orc that he could have used different pieces instead and still been in range.
I didn't actually see that, so I watched the second half. Actually, the Lizards got their own blitz. No, sorry, the Orcs got a blitz back, but it was on turn 8, so it didn't really make any difference. But then in the second half, the Lizards basically trundled down the pitch. They got down. They in fact went down the same side of the pitch, down the sidelines, and got to the goal line and just kind of hung around the goal line until turn 14 or so, I think. Yeah, I didn't actually watch the last bit, so I didn't see those last 2 turns. But yeah, always the thing of don't make anything risky if you're endangering your chances of scoring on turn 16, right?
Well, yeah. When I first saw it, it looked like he positioned to try and do a 1-turner in a weird way, because he'd made like the little cup in his own defense and ended up blitzing with his frenzy piece. So I thought he was doing some intricate little push play.
Yeah.
He got both down, so then maybe he had to quickly change the plan, and that's why he had to do these GFIs. But I'm sure he could have done something a little bit better that wouldn't have involved as much dice.
So he was trying to push more players forward, maybe, so that he had more of a screen for a receiver, maybe. Because I
mean, who knows? He may comment afterwards, but yeah.
I noticed that Knife and Orc got a level up in that game and took break tackle, so you now have a strength 5 break tackle frenzy, mighty blow, blitzer, which is pretty nice. I think the Orcs might have already played another game since then, so they've also got another injury. And the Lizards didn't get any level ups. And we're now joined by Lord Wu. Hello.
Hello, I finally got up.
No worries. I'm in no position to comment on other people being late because I was supposed to be doing a recap this morning for 4D and missed it because I was both not awake and not at home yet. So yeah, no worries. You're here and not even that late.
Yeah.
Like we've done one game.
All right. Hello, Gruff. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad.
Thanks for holding my spot.
Don't know if I'm quite meeting up to your standards, but I'll try.
Okay, and shall we carry on to the second game, which was Trustin Gob, Kian Dare's Goblin side against the Fly Lord Servants, and another 1-1 draw. Is this a division of draws? Because oh, actually no, these are the only 2 draws. Okay, that's fine. You watch this, Gruff, right? Did you watch this game, Woo?
I didn't, but I saw. I saw when it was finally finished, but I predicted goblins to win, if you remember. So seeing them tie was also,
Well, I think
I thought that was pretty good.
yeah, I think I think it being a draw is effectively a bit of a goblin win against this kind of team. It's pretty impressive to manage a draw with goblins. You can't really throw teammate when you've got so much disturbing presence, and you're going to be having players removed all the time. Oh, crumbs! In fact, Key and Dare had 9 players removed in that game.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm looking at it now, and it's kind of amazing that he was actually able to tie that.
Yeah, that's very impressive. I don't know if Key and Dare actually streamed the game, because I know he does stream some of them. Is that?
I think he did. I seem to remember watching some. This is why I think I've seen it, but I can't remember that well because it was early in the week, and I think he streamed like all that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think he streamed almost straight after we did last week's recap. So I remember, watching back the recap and knowing what the result. So I like to watch them back to hear how stupid I sound and stuff. And I think he'd already played his game by the time I watched it back the next day or so. So yeah. Sorry, carry on.
No, I was gonna say, I seem to remember. I think the goblins. It was their drive first, and he basically just sat back with the pogo for a while, and then just moved it forwards towards the end. And I think he still had to I think Ant-Man managed to kind of get people in the way well enough, but left like a dodge GFI score from the pogo right at the end on turn 7 or 8. So it was a bit hit and miss still, but not. But goblins were going off.
Yeah, you mean going off as in being removed, right? As opposed to
yeah, as in they were just being removed off the pitch, which is But I'd never really sort of seen it before, but I really like Grab on the ball and chain on his Fnatic.
Yeah, no,
it works so nicely for controlling players and just tying people to it.
It's funny. It's between Grab and Mighty Blow for the first kind of normal skill on a Fnatic, and it really tells what kind of coach someone is if they choose Mighty Blow over Grab, because Grab gives you so many more hits because you can just line people up, and even with the random movement, if you've got like 3 people that you're going to hit each turn, then you're not it's no longer that random, is it? And also the control, you can surf people with Grab is with quite a good likelihood. One of the things that I have occasionally used Fanatics for, that Grab is bad for though, is trying to do the push one turn. So you can use a Fnatic to push your own players forward, and Grab kind of cancels out. If you've got sidestep on players, the Grab and the sidestep cancel each other out, and it ends up making it a bit harder, I found. But I played a little bit of Goblins. Sorry, I'm looking to see, because the report on Rebbl Net says that like 9 of them were injured, but I just want to see what the bot report said, because I imagine that can't be the case, right? Or did they really all just get ruined like that?
It wasn't too bad even though they are just goblins, but still wasn't. There was a bunch of badly hurts and a couple MNGs.
I think
the worst was the Looney.
Yeah, the movement bust on the Looney.
But it's just a Looney, so it's fine.
I mean,
well, get a new one, but still.
Yeah, it's only 40. It only costs 40 to replace him, and he's got no SPP, and he probably won't actually get XPP. It's hard. It's hard to level up a Looney. But yeah, we're basically done.
Yeah, I can't. Again, it's another one that happened early in the week, so I can't really remember too much of this game. And I can't. Even the replay has disappeared now, so that shows how long ago it was.
Okay, let's carry on
But
then.
yeah, draw is great for the Goblins.
I mean, yeah, like Kinder's obviously a very good Goblin coach. To be in tier 2 with Goblins, let alone the number of pretty good results he's been getting against big horrific teams. I mean, he should be pretty happy with the draw. I think I think I said he should lose because he's Goblins, but if he plays well, he'll get a draw. And that, I think, was my prediction. I might be remembering the draw bit stronger in hindsight, knowing it was a draw. I should probably try and note down the actual.
Just pretend.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, we'll just say
you know
you're
what
right.
Yeah,
You're right the entire time.
No, I was watching some other.
You
I was
know.
watching another recapper, and they have like a whole point system for their, for their guesswork, and I'm like, oh, I don't know, can't even remember what I thought about.
I'm sure they haven't walked in at like 8 a.m. with a hangover on the morning of the recap. So
yes, okay. So the next game, I'm pretty sure I thought the Rats were going to win this, and that's Rat Rebbl against the Darkstar second liners. The Crystal Hunters Rats against Bobby Bingtang's Dark Elves. But the Dark Elves won it. You've got something to say about this, don't you, Gruff?
well, yeah, I mean, from the scoreline, you'd think it was a really action-packed match, but in a way, it was a little bit of a. That's not being horrible to either coach, but it wasn't the crazy match that you'd expect when you start to get higher scores. I mean, half-time it was still only 1-1, so there's a lot to score in the second half. But my only comment really was it kind of felt like maybe Crystal forgot about all the leap on the Dark Elves in the first half, because he sometimes left himself open to get hit from either, I think it's the Blitzer or the Witch that both got leap.
There's actually 3 leapers on the Dark Elf team. There's also strip ball, wrestle, lineman as well. So yeah, lots of leaping threats from the and 2 of them are Agi 5, or one of them is Agi 6. But yeah, the Witch being strength 4, Agi 5, leap, tackle, wrestle, I assume was pretty hard for Crystal to defend against.
Yeah, because I mean the one play where I think it really went against the Rats was Crystal had done a really nice play. I think it was in the first half of sacking the ball and getting a load of Rats around it. He managed to get it in the hands of a gutter runner, and then just left. I mean, I don't think there was anywhere good you could put the Rat really, but he then just left the gutter runner in basically a 3+ leap for a 2-die blitz from the leap tackle blitzer. And I don't know whether he just kind of forgot that leap was a thing there or what, but it was just little things like that just sometimes meant as much as Crystal was trying his best, the Dark Elves were just able to get the ball back quite easily. And
Crystal's actually in the chat, as are now apparently everyone seems to have joined all at once. But anyway, hey Crystal, hey Kinder, hey Thurnlout, and yeah, Crystal said that he'd predicted the Kid Goblin result, or that he'd get a result out of it, which I think we can all agree draw was. But also, yeah, Crystal says it was a bit of an off day and he wasn't focused and made some bad calls. I had a quick flick through, and you're right. Like, especially the first half was very cagey. I possibly would have gone for more trying to score and less holding onto the ball. Like if I was both teams, and I think there wasn't a score until turn 6 or 7 of the first half, and the ball had been on the floor a few times by then as well.
Yeah, again, there was another one. Sorry, this seems like I'm being really horrible to Crystal now, but I'm just remembering moments from the game, but there was another time where he got the ball on the hands of a gutter runner just on one of the flanks, and it was near to the sort of halfway line, and basically there was just a screen of a single rat pretty much in front of it. So it was just a case of a leap over, sack the ball, and then he could get like 2 of the Agi 5 players through to cover the ball as well. And it left the rats really kind of badly positioned then to be able to try and do anything about it. But I mean, all of this just gets me kind of worried because I've got the Dark Elves next.
Yeah, and actually, what was I going to say? There was something. Oh, Crystal Hunter did induce the ball and chain. Was it Fez glitch? And put him on the first drive on defense, which is one thing I'm not so certain about. I don't know if that was an attempt to get the Dark Elves to try and score faster. But I don't really like the ball and chain in defense because it's so slow. Or maybe against like bashy teams, but against an Agi elf team, it's not very effective. I don't think. I think it just tends to wander about, not really hitting very much if the other player's good at avoiding it. And it just got removed pretty quickly.
I was going to say also on defense because I think it was on the LOS. So it's if you put it there, then it can be hit and generally taken out quite easily because the attacking team will have the initiative to be able to just if they choose to ignore it, they can set up away from it. If they choose to focus it, they can just get a free hit. And quite often a hit on something like a ball and chain will take it off quite quick.
Yeah, I mean, a free hit, you're either red dicing it or you're putting quite a bit of like 4 or 5 players to try and to get a good hit on it, right? So I guess they had get that strength 4 witch onto it, and then you only need 3 other assists for a 1 die. Still not great though, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it ended up being. It was he committed various players around it and then just went in with the witch, got a 1 die, which just straight away.
Yeah, Crystal says he didn't realise double guard was there to take Fez down. Triple guard, but anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I don't like it just because the opposition might choose to score quickly and then you've kind of lost him as well. Either way, it's not my favourite choice. Yeah, cool.
I think one of the other deciders in it, as well, just quickly, as the last point, was Bobby did a good job of controlling the Pom Claw Storm and basically kept him on the opposite side from where a load of the action was in the 1 half, and then fouled him, got him stunned, and just left a skillless lineman there to just stop it getting into the action.
I think I remember it was KO'd for a large portion of the second half as well. I think so. Yeah, and didn't come back after. I think it might have been like So it was 1-1 at the half, and then got KO'd turn 14 or maybe 13 or so. Well, no, sorry, turn 10 or so of the second half, and then there was a touchdown. It still didn't come back. But yeah, Crystal saying he had an off day, so such is life. Can't all play perfectly every day.
But I mean, to take it close and still get 2 touchdowns on an off day shows that is a good coach, and stuff like this just happens.
Oh, there was a bit where I do think Bobby Vingteng put too much into surfing a player, and his entire team was huddled around the midline on the sideline, and then Crystal Hunter screened off the ball, which was right at the back on the goal line. This was when it was 2-2, I think. And I really thought Crystal Hunter had a chance to sack the ball and get it back. And Bobby didn't do that well at kind of protecting the ball in that last few moments of the game, but managed to get it forward and then scored. But yeah.
Yeah, in fact, Crystal points out in chat that he had a good shot of winning at the end, but the ball was popped out, and scattered into the hands of another elf.
Ah.
You know, if that scatter hadn't gone there, then that changes things.
The classic 1 in 8, the worst scatter possible. Okay, cool. Should we carry on to the next matchup, which was, he says, flipping around. Smart models, Uldar against the Voltrex Vanguards, the dirty high elf team. And you watched this, right? And you watched the
I caught it
replay.
yesterday.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I caught it yesterday, and I was chatting to Rama actually
Mhm.
a little bit about it.
No one died. Damn it! Why did he not kill any elves? What, you know, boo Uldar. I thought you were, you know, thought your job was to kill someone. Nothing. Not even no one. Anyway, sorry.
That's it. I don't think it was. It wasn't a particularly brutal match at all.
Yeah, one
just
badly hurt for each team by the looks of it. Which isn't great for SPP for Uldar either.
But yeah, I seem to remember Chor started on. It was their drive first. They basically just did the classic march the ball up the pitch in 8, trying to hit an elf every turn.
Mhm.
And I think although Rama has the one turner, so you can kind of just let that happen and then score, which is one of the comments I mean, he was saying generally that's not the ideal plan, but you know, when you can just do that, why put your players in too much danger if you don't have to?
Yeah.
But Rama did say to me that I think he got a little bit tilted in the first half because he was having what he felt were bad block dice.
Oh, that feeling of making a blitz and getting pushes every time you do a blitz. Yeah. Just nothing happening.
But yeah, that was basically the way it ran. Was just Aldor scores 8 turns. The High Elves have 1 turn to score back, which they do. And my biggest comment on this is Aldor's 1 turn defense was terrible. He really needs to sort that out. He got enough players to properly kind of screen it and left 1 square gap at the edge of the pitch and on a side with a ball centaur there rather than a chore for tackle.
Wait, so
basically,
he did the back line thing where you but he only put 7 players there rather than 8. Is that what you're saying?
No. So he did the back line.
Mm-hmm.
He had enough players to do it. Did the back line, but left. So on the right wing, he had a ball centaur sat 1 square in from the edge. The ball centaur doesn't have tackle, which is the first mistake because obviously it dodges through no tackle, and it's only through single tackle zones. So if you'd have put a Chorf blocker actually on the line on the far side and another Chorf blocker 2 squares in from that, it would have been dodging through tackle through 2 tackle zones.
Yeah.
And I think that would have actually at least forced a re-roll because I think at one point on one of them there was a Rama rolled a 3, and obviously if he's going through multiple tackle zones with tackle, then it would have forced a re-roll at least.
Mm-hmm. That's the best you can hope for, really, against such a ridiculous 1 turner. The trouble is he can blitz himself through with jugs, right? So it must be, you know, it's pretty hard to stop that at the best of times, isn't it?
But still, I mean, in this situation where he's got that player, you want to make him roll as many dice as possible to get them. And in this case, I think Aldor kind of gave him the easiest situation to do the 1 turn.
I mean, there might be an argument for maybe Uldar shouldn't have quite as much mighty blow and should have a bit, you know, have a stand firm or 2 as well to kind of, you know, to help secure up various bits of the defense. I think, you know, a bit more stand firm would be very irritating for other people.
That's not the Chorf way.
That's not, yeah.
Sure, you know, it's got mighty blow claw on everything.
Okay, well maybe he'll get stand firm at some point for one of these players, and that will help. I mean, he's got it on the ball, so he likes it at some point, and it'll probably be good on the other ball with Frenzy too. But not, I've not actually seen this game, so I can't really say anything else.
But I mean, that's really the only comment I've got in that match. I think second half, Rama actually cased the player and got a couple of KOs, which made it easier for him to just run around with the ball and
Stall.
kind of hold off until.
Yeah, and pretty standard 2-1 grind basically when you've got a one turner.
Yeah, and I seem to remember he basically just lured Aldo into going down one side and then switched it up and just got the score on the other wing. So
yeah, and that is the problem with having having so many movement 4 pieces. Is it's very difficult to defend well against very fast teams. However much people think that dwarves are the anti-elf team. Cool.
Well, that's the thing. They would say dwarves. It's all about the positioning to be good at dwarves.
Yeah, and I think Aldar might be one of the newer coaches. I think he's someone who may have come even from the Rebbl Rookie League at some point a few seasons back. I can't remember. I have a feeling he's newer. Maybe he'll come on at some point. We can talk about it. But anyway,
he I think he got into playoffs last season. I seem to remember he faced off against Jimmy.
But there's a lot to be said for a 1800s Shorf team getting you into playoffs, and a 6-4-4-7 Blodge sure hands Hobgoblin can't hurt as well. But whereas Ramaset's got the natural one turner craziness instead. Anyway, who knows? Okay, next. Sorry, did you have anything to say, Lord Wu? Are you there? Oh, and also, have I been? Oh, Rama was actually in the chat, and I didn't see. Oh, the turn 16 foul. Did the High Elves actually turn 16 foul? Did you see a turn 16 foul? Gruff.
I can't actually remember.
Okay, so should we go on to the next one? And Rama says that he was in the Challenger Cup last season and he was in the playoffs in season 8. So it's pretty good going. I'm sure I've heard somewhere that he said he was a newish coach. I can't remember. Anyway, so let's go on to the Imperishable 4 against Ginny's Sugar Daddies, which Thurnlau, my next opponent, beating Lady Killjoy's Dark Elves 2-1.
So I've only seen the first half of this.
Which is still a half more than I've seen.
Yeah, well, they'll start with the ball. And I think Thurnlow put on some good pressure and was trying to get them to score kind of early, but I'm trying to remember that he got a really nice break tackle blitz onto the ball carrier who was sat on a wing with one of his Tomb Guardians, but it was a runner, so dump off to another elf. After that, they kind of messed around a bit in the middle of the field, and then Dark Elves ran off to the other wing and sort of made a little screen in the corner. Looked pretty safe, but then Thurnlow, all credit to him, kept the pressure up and managed to get a nice break tackle blitz onto a Witch Elf. Cased her. It was the big Agi 5 Witch Elf, and I think that panicked Lady Killjoy into then scoring. So Thurnlow had 2 turns left to try and get an equaliser. And to be honest, I don't think Lady Killjoy did the best to defence, and left a pretty easy way through for the Khemri, and they equalised on turn 8. and that's about as much as I can talk about.
And then I assume Thurnlau took the ball and slowly moved up the did.
I'm guessing so. I mean, once the Witch Elf was off, which one is Babbo? Then, like, yeah, I'm guessing Lady Killjoy didn't have quite so many options.
That is a lot of TV. 230 points of removal. And yeah, the rest of the team. I mean, there's quite a bit of Agi 5, but I'm surprised there's not more. What's the word? Vanity passing going on. Only 2 passes made by the Dark Elves, and you'd want to get that lineman with Agi 5 up to the next level, surely.
I think those passes were both early in the first half. So I'm guessing he was intending to do more vanity passing, and then as things started to go south, he stopped doing it.
But yeah, I'm afraid as we didn't really watch it, not really much to say. Yeah.
Those typing away about something.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He had a wizard for his drive and did some bad positioning and left open a bolt on the ball, and then 1 blitz to swarm the ball. But he got lucky and the wizard failed. Oh, that is lucky.
There we go.
I mean, we're gonna talk a bit more about wizarding in your game, aren't we? It's very hard to position well enough that you don't leave something open to a wizard, especially against elves, right?
Yeah.
So I think Thurnlau might be being a bit harsh on himself, but yeah, it can be hard to stop Dark Elves with a wizard.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I think Thurnlau maybe is a little hard on himself there, because in the first half, I think Lady Killjoy, once he got the ball sort of screened off in that corner, maybe thought, he took the foot off the pedal a bit and was just a bit relaxed about it, thinking he got it really nicely. And then Thurnlau kind of saw a route through to get some pressure on, at least get him to score on turn 7. So to just keep going at it like that, I think shows that Thurnlau got a bit of a good sense of what he was trying to do in the game there. So the luck can go either way.
Yeah, and no one got any level ups, and no permanent removals. You've got 30 gold to spend before our game when this recap finishes. Thurnlau, you're waiting to surprise me with something like. Anyway. Yeah.
Maybe we'll go crazy. Get 2 cheerleaders and an assistant coach.
I mean, that would be crazy. And then fire them straight away. You mean that kind of crazy?
Well, keeping 1 cheerleader, 1 coach can be kind of good.
Yeah, I think so. But whatever. It depends against. Anyway, yeah. Let's not talk about that, because I think that's one of my plans. Let's see. Anyway, so should we move on to the next game? Which was your game, Shock and Gore against Hell's Doofuses, which I do actually have some clips from.
Wow, I feel honoured.
Yeah, not entirely because you mentioned them before we started. So it does help for people to pinpoint to me, where there's a good recap to show. And the first I've got is your ball sack turn 7. I made this like 30 seconds ago, and I've already. Oh yeah, so the chaos drive. After you scored, when they had a couple of turns to come back, I really liked the. This is a pretty quick clip, but basically, it's your ghoul dodging through a tackle zone, and then out and round to get the scoring threat down. I like that. was a few dice though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, so I kind of feel I wasn't expecting it to be as close as it was going into this match, but I kind of feel like if some dice had gone slightly better for me, I could have won this game. And I think, talking to Yorick, he was kind of feeling a similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was annoyed with himself for some of the opportunities he did actually end up leaving me. So first half, it was my drive.
Mm-hmm.
I got really annoyed. So I induced Ramtut, a wizard, and a babe. First round of blocking, I'd lined up 3-die blocks with all of the mummies and Ramtut. I got plenty of stuff to try and I think I rolled pushes on my first 5 or 6 blocks.
Yeah.
I posted it in Discord. Yeah, so that wasn't great. So I got 1 knockdown over, but that then allowed the Chaos guys to just get all of their guard wedged in against my players and just made things really tough. And Europe played really well. Focused getting Ramtut off with some fouls, so he was cast by about turn 3.
But I did notice that the dirty player Beastman was sent off as well. Was he sent off for the foul that removed him?
Yeah, it was sent off with that foul.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, he started to focus my dirty players and one of my mummies and got them off the pitch as well. So by about turn 5, things weren't looking. No, turn 4 maybe, things weren't looking great for me. I was kind of boxed in on the right side of my half. But fortunately for me, Yorick had put pretty much all of his beastmen over on that wing as well.
Yeah.
And I was able to just hand off to a ghoul, run it all the way over to the other wing on the sideline, and he couldn't get any players to it. 2 GFIs put it in scoring range for the next turn. So I just scored on turn 5.
Oh yeah, I remember this. He was definitely going all in for the trying to remove all your players, wasn't he? So he kind of just had everyone squidged up against your side of your bottom left corner of the field, bottom right corner of the field.
Yeah, I think he was so concerned with me running off up that side of the pitch and just wanted to put as much in the way as he could that he didn't realise I could just run off the other.
I mean, it was a 1 in 9 handoff, but you know, it's not that hard.
1 in 9.
You would have been crying if it had failed.
Yeah, definitely. But that's what I'm saying. So dice worked a bit for me in places. Other times it was pretty bad. But that left him 4 turns to try and score back.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really just committed on this play to just, if I can make him roll as much dice as possible to try and stop the score in the first half and just go in up, that would be amazing for me. And even I think Yorick was saying, this is going to be horrible. You know, you've got a wizard and you're 1-0 up. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to win this now.
Yeah, I was thinking about recording turn 7 as well, where he was coming up the right hand side as we're looking at it, and actually was still leaving the ball very open, and you got a hit on the ball, and he had to actually dodge his movement dodge player away to get anywhere type thing. And
I got really lucky, I think a turn or 2 before this clip, where he left his main killer able to be hit, so I was able to blitz it, KO'd luckily, and then could get White and my Bloodstep Ghoul based with the ball.
But he still scored, unfortunately.
Yeah, he made the dodge through and got the score, and then second half, I think. Did you say you have another clip?
I've got the lightning bolt, and actually I think there's a few things to lightning bolt. Yeah. This is this is the turn before the lightning bolt. I guess that gives something away, but he's building his cage now. The ball's pretty safe, and I'm pointing out the killer in the KO box, which was so he didn't wake up for the second half after you KO'd him. But I don't really like this blitz that he does, where he hits the the white, where he had enough, he had the guard to hit the mummy with.
I thought the mummy was getting hit.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, and I was surprised when he hit the white, and he got both down, so that would have, hit the mummy, and not the white. And it would have changed. So then you lightning bolt. I didn't pause it. I should have probably paused it so we could talk a bit more about this. I do think that was the right place to lightning bolt, and I would have done the same thing, moving the ghoul over. I think that's that looks like that's the obvious kind of blitz to open it up type thing. But then you followed up with the white, and I
know this was the mistake.
Yeah. Whereas if you hadn't followed up, the mummy could have hit the beastman out of the way, right? And then you could have followed the. Actually, you still would have failed the dodge, because you still would have been dodging into one tackle zone. Well, sorry, you would have got hit on the beastman. If it had been a push, we don't know that it wasn't a knockdown, but it would have given you a chance for the knockdown.
But what you said of not following with white was my original plan, and I don't know why I hit follow.
Just one of those automatic things where your head's not quite in it, and you forget your original plan thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Ram.
But yeah, the plan was to go through, and then once I made that commitment, I kind of had to go in anyway with the ghoul, and just try and get.
Rama says the wizard was interesting. I would have blitzed with the Agi 4 from where the ghoul was. That's true. So yeah, if the Agi 4 ghoul could have gone to the same place the white did, and no, it still would have. It would have. Was another choice.
Yeah, it would have been the same. Yeah. I could have picked up the ball.
I know, but you could have moved the guard in, and the mummy could have got a hit to also open it up beforehand. Interesting. So all three of us. Well, so you were thinking about the same play that I was thinking about originally, but just misclicked a bit. It's funny how you can see so many different things, so many options.
I think I was just intended to go in with the Agile because being blodge step. So if I could have just moved up, picked up the ball, and maybe got to the halfway, because I think it would have been 2 GFIs to the halfway line. Then all of his tackle was over on the other side of the pitch and wouldn't have been able to reach me. And yeah, I could have just run up that wing. Was the original thinking.
But yeah, the things that could have been. But yeah, it's very interesting. And I like what Rama is, Rama was saying that use the white guard as the assist, so you don't have to do the GFI, then blitz with the Agi 4 and try and dodge through to get the ball. I think. But yeah. I also have. Do I have one more? No, that is it. That's it from this game. But then, yeah. So that's basically. From this he recovers, gets the ball, and pounds your team into submission, right?
Yeah, I think he removed quite a few players after that. Fortunately, nothing permanent.
Yeah, at the point at which you scored, at the point at which he scored, you had 5 or 6 players left on the pitch, I think, against his maybe 10. So yeah, but all your KOs did come back, so you did have a few players for the turn 16. Did you attempt one turn? I can't remember.
No, I was going to try and hit things, and then there was a thrown rock which knocked my mummy down.
Yeah.
And then my blitz was a push, and yeah, it was just to repeat that crap dice again.
Mm-hmm. But still, as you said, no permanent injuries. The team's kind of coming back maybe a little bit.
Apart from the fact I got MVP on Ramtut as well. So basically all I got for the match was 3 SVP on a rookie goal.
I mean, any game where players don't die is a forward movement.
Baby steps.
Yeah, exactly.
Slightly.
Whereas, as I was just showing, Hell's Doofus has got two levels. Oh, where are we? Yeah, one was the MVP Beastman, and also he scored on a warrior. So his last time he actually, he handed off to a warrior who he wanted to score on. Is that right?
I think it turned 14 or 15. He did that. I was trying to goad him into if he'd have passed with the warrior to a 3 SUV beastman, he could have leveled both of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to just goad him during the match to do that in the hope that it would fail and it's 1-1.
So he's actually played a game since then. So he's got two levels outstanding, but that's from a later game. Blockhead got wrestle, and the warrior who scored claw. So more claw, mighty blow. Again, another subtle, complex skill choice team.
Well, I gotta say though about he is a really nice guy when you're playing. The guy was just really nice to talk to during the match, and like I said, afterwards we were chatting about what happened, and he was really kind of like, that could have gone terribly. I can't believe I made silly mistakes and left opportunities like that. So he was a really nice guy to talk to.
Did you get an apothecary as a wandering apothecary with some of your inducements, by the way?
No.
Because it's showing on RebbLNet. Hey, wait, I can actually show it on stream. Wait a second. La la. This one. I hope people will still be able to hear you when I do this. I'm not so certain. But it's showing that in your game, I think there were 6 Kaz. So one of the warriors got 2, another one got 1, a beastman got 1, and the Shagnor got 2, but only showing 2 stuck. Oh, of course, regen. What am I thinking about?
Yeah.
I'm an idiot. Sorry. So
I made so many regen rolls.
Yay! And regen from things that were perms and bads and stuff, or
yeah.
So
yeah, I can't remember what half of them were, but yeah, most things regen.
Excellent. The opposite of the usual feeling of only zombies regenning.
That's why I can't really complain, because okay, there was some dice that I would have liked to have worked during the match, but at the same time I got regen going off all the time, and yeah.
Cool.
And let's face it, I'm not bottom of the table, so I can be happy.
We'll come to that in a second. Although, there's some games been played, haven't they? But we'll see anyway. So the last result was mine against the Knight Sutaini Sandland, who Crystal Hunter was making me very scared about facing. And then, as you can see, the result, it was a little bit nuffily, let's say. And I know that I know that Sandland really felt like he was unlucky. But I do think that there's a few things I would like to highlight. And so one of them, so the first one is actually turn 2. And I go for like a bit of a, I'm going for trying to remove one of the peasants with a blitz and pile on. And I knew before I was going to do this that I was going to pile on even if, the armor break didn't happen. Setting up everything. He had a player on the floor who didn't stand up because he didn't want to dodge away from diving tackle, which I think was, why not dodge? You got an you could roll a 6, or you could make the diving tackle end up lying down. But the point I kind of most want to make is, actually before we get to that as well, he took a loner yeoman with God, which I think was a very interesting choice. But basically, I don't like. I think he used wrestle instead of push too much, and I think he ended up with a bit too heavily based cage. So here he goes for the. He's basically going. He's taking the wrestle in this case because he wants to foul me. It's turn 3. If you look at the his cage, if any of this fails at any point, he's leaving the ball open. There's a jump up player. There's two jump up players lying down, in connection with where his cage is going to end up. And he does a lot of this with the intention of fouling out Kermit. I don't know if this was to get the, but I feel like he's not. He's got a almost totally base cage here. I think. I think that was very dodgy, and I would have played more. I would have pushed away rather than ending up in so much contact. You can see there's a loner next to a peasant. There's a mighty blow guard player facing his guard player. There's 2 jump up players on his strength, and I chose to go for hits rather than trying to get to the ball. And I ended up getting pushes when I was kind of like, oh look, mighty blow hit. Oh, nothing, just a push. Mighty blow jump up. Oh, nothing, just a push. In fact, skulls and then a push. And you see that I'm trying to stay out of contact as well. More pushes. And then a loner block. I've used up my reroll already on the 2 skulls and get a 1 in 9. So, like, that could have, you say that Ramaset says that I employed a higher risk strategy, but I ended up in a worse position than I would have chosen to be, I think. But at the end of this turn, I end up in a lot more base contact, but that's because I'm getting loads of pushes, and actually I don't think my dice were that lucky in the beginning. And it wasn't the only example where he chose wrestle instead of a push, and I think he ended up with not enough players standing up, and not enough. So it makes his defending of the ball a lot harder. Does that make sense?
Yep. Like I've done a few things. I played Brett's also. I've done that a couple times when I was like, crap, I should have been.
Yeah.
Took the push or something like that.
Yeah, it's you like people talk a lot about the idea of Brett's being quite a good fouling team because you wrestle people down and then you stamp on them with cheap linemen. But you sometimes end up with not enough players standing to, even with strength 4, sidestep, blodge. Like the turn after this, I got a few hits on more players and KOing his killer, which, as you can see, is the player standing in front of my 2 jump up mighty blow blitzers at the end of this clip.
But I mean, I guess that's the problem with wrestle. Like you say, most people where wrestle isn't already there, their default will be to take a block. Once you've got wrestle just as a skill already on the player, then you think, okay, I'll take both down, can wrestle them down, great, they're on the floor. But it shifts the initiative onto the opposing team because next turn they can just stand up and do, and your player's still on the floor. So with so much wrestle across the team, you kind of, if you're forcing to take and wrestle all the time, you've got 4 players potentially on the floor a lot against your opponent.
Yeah, and I feel like I was pressuring him quite well without necessarily giving away that many blocks. So you see, when I took the pushes, I wasn't pushing and staying in contact. I was trying to avoid contact where it was not necessary, and just leaving 1 or 2 players in contact occasionally, but it wasn't my aim. Whereas I feel like Sandland left a lot of players in contact, and in contact with. So I think he didn't pay enough attention to the jump up. So even if that foul had worked, he would have had a jump up player on the corner of the cage, which could have led to a blitz into the cage, or and especially with leap, where I could have leaped in and gone for the ball sack if I'd really wanted to at some point. but it was pressure, but it wasn't, nothing amazing was happening for me, I don't think, in the first half until about turn 8. So I'd kind of I pushed him back and he'd run down the sideline, and I knocked the ball over at turn 7, and he had to do some I quite like this push play. It's very good. He pushes his dodge player into a position where he can actually, dodge out. Admittedly, I've got 2 tackle around the ball, and he dodges, and 1 in 9 zicks uses a reroll. I think it would have been unlikely to work anyway. It was turn 8, and he's dodging then in to pick up the ball in the tackle zone and dodge back out again out of tackle. But I think this is the result of quite a lot of pressure from me, I think. And this turn, this is where the game turned from, oh, look, I've managed to probably stop the score, into I probably won the game, because I do a 3 dice on his dirty player, which was one of the things I was afraid of. Was the dirty player stayed around for quite a while and was threatening for quite a long time, so I was very happy when I actually removed him, and also get another 3 die on a wrestler, which resulted in a niggle. So, and he appoed that into miss next game. So I permanently remove 2 players having only got KOs up until now, and also it's turn 8 and I have a scoring threat, which is a catcher, who I've made sure that I can throw a 4+ pass to with a reroll. So this was obviously lucky that there were two injuries and that the 75% worked, and the catch worked, and the pickup worked.
Yeah, and all this pass, I didn't think you were going to get this.
I mean, it was Agi for long pass, so it wasn't the longest range. I forgot what the actual name is. So I thought it was quite likely, and I made 2 3 dice blocks, and I was lucky with the results of them, that they were Kaz's, but I didn't need them to be Kaz's. I just needed them to be pushes. As long as they weren't 6 skulls, it wouldn't. Even 3 skulls would have maybe changed my play a little bit. But yeah, I don't think the turn 8 was amazingly lucky. All in all,
no, I don't think that pass is particularly risky play, considering the players you were using to do.
And obviously, I'd been thinking about I'd moved the movement, the Agi 4 wrestler to that end of the pitch, turn 5 or 6. He was the one in defence, because I knew I was thinking about the idea that I'd have to throw with him at some point. So it was, I'd been thinking about that. It wasn't dumb luck that there was a Agi 4 player standing next to the ball. And the strength 4 was there as well, because I knew that I would probably need him to sack the ball, and in fact he came back and he was the one that sacked. And the catcher was no GFIs away from the end zone.
What is dumb stuff though is the clip that's circulating from your match.
Okay, yeah. So I guess the last clip, which I did take, which you will have seen if you watched the stream last week. Hi Bobby Bingtang, by the way. Which was I'm already 2-0 up. This is gravy. Turn 16 play where that the Agi 4 the Agi 4 wrestler who I'm trying to get more SPP on. I'd rather he got SPP than the catcher, who tends to steal a lot of SPP and is already on 99 or so. But I throw with the catcher just in case. Throw's fine. Catch is a 1 re-rolled into a 1, which you could say is a bit unlucky. And the ball scatters out, and maybe my luck came back by it bouncing into my loaner's hands, who could dodge out and hand off. And that was all fine. So 3-0 was an unfair score. He played much better than 3-0, but it was out of hand by this point. He had like 4 players. I scored my it was a bit disgusting, but very funny.
It was funny, but that would have been. I felt for Sandler. I would have been very tilted at that that play, especially.
Yeah,
I mean,
I can understand why Sunderland is a little bit sort of salty about this match.
Yeah, but yeah, this was I would have been fine with it not working. The fact this happened is ridiculous. You know, not even sure it was that unlikely. Whatever. No, I can't excuse it. There's no excuse. But yeah, it was immensely amusing when it happened. I think that would have removed some of the salt for me if that happened to me. I'd like, well, Nuffle has deemed this is how this game ends. Then he obviously wasn't Sandland's friend to start with. Let's say. But yeah, when Nuffle really doesn't like you, it's hard times. But yeah, no, I don't think Sandland deserved the 3-0. But I do think I deserved to have won that game. Generally, I think it was one of those things where there was that snowball effect of the first couple of turns. Little things happened, like I KO'd his mighty blow blitzer because of the play that I showed. He got stuck next to the two diving tackle Kislev blitzers, and obviously couldn't dodge away.
I mean, I'm just waiting for the Sunderland fight back now, because wasn't he in the same situation last season?
Well,
of losing the first
no,
two games and then won everything else.
Well, no, so he didn't. I thought he said he lost his first 2 games because of admin concedes. This was the 3rd game. This is where his comeback was supposed to start, and this was not the comeback that he was hoping for. Yeah.
I still got faith in the guy. I expect to see him up in the table by the end of the season.
And because of leveling, because of that game, throwing. Oh yeah, and I did a vanity pass with a lineman that was probably a little bit salt inducing as well. That was fine. I forgot about that. But gives me a dirty player for the game against Thurnlau. And also got a bit of money, so actually have a bench again. First time in I don't know how many games, which I'm pretty happy about. No more loners. Look at that. Stanland. Oh yeah, so I armor busted his. Where is he? I've lost him. Oh, there he is, right next to me. I armor busted his dirty player. I don't. Yeah, so he's already fired. The AV6 peasant. And MNG'd. Oh, he's played since then as well. But he didn't get any levels in my game. But yeah, it was fun streaming it. It's nice to stream games when you're winning. It's a bit nice. Yeah. Oh,
at least it's not draws.
Yeah.
Across this week, so that's at least something. We're starting to see some people moving ahead now at the table.
Yeah. So Yorick drew. Did he draw his first game? So he won against you, and that's now kind of put him at the top. He's also played another game, so he's ahead of Ramaset, who's still unbeaten on 3 wins. Thurnlau and me, 3rd and 4th, get to this is a real 6-pointer that we're about to go for. I've already had my depressing beat down on stream, Thurnlau. If you saw my clan game, I made some mistakes. It was terrible. Anyway, and that was after. Anyway, that was in between this, so you're not going to get too excited. But anyway, and then
I have to cheer for the Camry. after you killing one of my mummies.
that was like, was that even last season? Was it last season? Or was it season before?
Yeah, it was. As Ryan was finding out, I hold a grudge.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you're going to have a grudge against everyone in this division, but if you don't, especially if you don't win a few more games. But yeah, so you're not last because I beat Sandland. You should be happy, that I made sure you won't last.
You've moved to number 2 on the list, no longer number 1.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, it was a blodge mummy at that, wasn't it? Was it a blodge or block tackle? I can't remember. A blodge, wasn't it?
It was the blodge firm guard.
Yeah. Yeah, dodge isn't very useful when I've got lots of tackle though, so and diving tackle. Anyway, was it a jump up? It was a random 1 dice jump up block, wasn't it? I was trying to push you away.
Something like that.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying to kill him. Just one of those things. Thurn now says he will only not hold a grudge against the goblins, which funny because the goblins are the most likely to do horrific damage to any team they face. And then middle of the pack. I'm surprised Crystal Hunter lost, that game, but that's kind of. I guess we're only on game 3, aren't we? And
I was going to say we're only 3 weeks in, so as much as a table, people are losing games and stuff. It's still kind of close.
Yeah,
people can recover quite easily.
And the lots of draws thing mean the Lizards getting 4 draws, but the number of draws in this division mean everyone except for the teams who've won all their games and lost all their games are pretty close together in terms of points, right?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, it's not going to happen. But if I were to win this week, I could, in theory, jump up to like 5th or 6th.
Yeah. No, in fact, that's a big group in the middle with who don't have a win but do have a lot of draws. In fact, surprisingly few winners. Interesting.
But I guess it shows that they actually kind of match things up quite nicely for the division. But it's all quite even between the teams and the coaches.
Yeah. I think this is a very close division, generally in terms of coach skill. There's a few standout coaches and a few standout teams. I think they kind of they balance each other off a little bit as well. Anyway, we'll see. So next week, Hell's Doofuses have already played Orctually Ridiculous and have unsurprisingly, clawed the Orc team. But we'll talk about it next time. So no guessing as to what that result is. The next scheduled game is the next game on the schedule even is me against Thurn Lau, which is starting straight after this, as I've mentioned.
Game of the week.
Game of the week. This might. Actually, 3rd against 4th. It probably is game of the week, right? Who's round?
But I think it's interesting just to see how that game goes. Yeah, it's definitely 1 to 1.
What do you two think is who do you two think is going to win this, or draw, or whatever? Do you want to start?
Do you want to go first, Woo?
Okay.
I can start if you want.
This is gonna be a tough. This is gonna be a tough one.
So I'd say, having played both of you a few times, you're kind of equal skill level. I'd rate you both kind of quite equally matched in terms of that. I've got a feeling you would probably take it through some stupid play at the end. It feels like that would be the only thing that would split the two of you. You both play a really kind of nice, well strategized and tactical game, and then something dumb will happen, and you'll just go, fuck it, I'm gonna leap.
I mean, I'd like to point out, I basically don't think I leapt once against Sandland in the first half, and only leapt in the second half for in silly, not very important times. Let's say I'm not, I'm playing not very leapy Kislev, even with the Agi 4.
Well, just because you have leap doesn't mean you should use it.
Yeah, exactly. In fact,
and that will kill Kislev every time.
well, it's the same as GFIs. You know, there's a reason that you don't GFI everyone every turn, do you? Because you'll find that one and fail. Well, leaping does the same thing. So you saying, Gruff, you think it's going to be basically a draw unless I do something crazy to change it.
Which you probably will, since you said you don't like to tie. So, and this game is a game that should be won by someone. Like, it's almost like a must win for like the future, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Down the road.
Yeah, exactly. It's a 6-pointer in football parlance, because it's not just the 3 points of winning it; it's the team that loses drops 3 points lower as well. It's a big important game for the top 4, assuming that we remain in the top 4. Ramaset said I didn't need to leap against Sandland, so maybe against Thurnlow I'll need to leap more. I don't know if this is there's a tipping thing that Rebbl have started creating, and basically what's it called? It works out your general win percentages, and his coach what is the word for there's like the chess system where it decides what your ranking is based on who you faced and how well you did and all that. Elo, yeah. Our Elo is I've got far lower Elo than my Kislev team have a lower Elo than the Khemri team. But if you include the racial matchups, most games between Kislev and Khemri, the Kislev win. So thanks, yep, Elo, thank you, Bobby. So most games between Kislev and Khemri, the Kislev win. But one of the few losses between Kislev and Khemri was Thurnlow pitch clearing me last season. So I'm not holding my breath for a good game. Let's say I'm fully expecting a very, very tough fought game. Especially, I don't think he had both Agi 3 players at that point. So I think he only had one of them. So it's going to be even harder. I'm not looking.
I mean, that would be the other way it goes. If he just starts removing everything, then obviously you're screwed. But I guess you've got a good bank of linemen you can throw at stuff. You've got quite a lot of wrestle on the team, so if you get some of the Tomb Guardians on the floor and open up some holes in things, then it gives a few more opportunities to go in.
Yeah, Thurnlow says that I lacked a lot of good players before, and actually I think I was pitch cleared with 11 or 12 Kislev, whereas now at the moment I've got 13, which I think is a good buffer. I think you need as Kislev. I like a big bench, and I didn't have my own Agi 4 wrestlers before either. I don't think. So it's a lot closer. Lord Wu, what do you think? Pick a side. Or pick a result, I should say, in case you think it's going to be a draw.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a draw. Someone's going to pull off a high risk play, because they're going to need to, like Gruff said, it's probably going to be you, and I'll probably decide the match. I kind of want to say Khemri. I think like if Khemri cage up, you're gonna end up trying to leap in, because you can't get past the Tomb Guardians. And yeah, this game's gonna have to require you to leap a couple times where you really don't want to. So.
It'll be interesting. I mean, obviously my perfect result would be that I can get a hit in before he's got round to building a cage, or I can separate the Tomb Guardians off a little bit. He's only got 3 guard, and those are on the Tomb Guardians, which I think I also have 3 guard, and one of them is on a catcher. So as long as he stays on the pitch for more than 2 turns, which he hasn't so far. You know, it could be interesting. I might go for a bit more crazy plays. We'll see. Anyway, let's. I'm nervous of this game, and I'm expecting Thurnlau to win through better play, basically. Let's move on to the Voltrex Vanguard against Knights of St. Nee. Are we all going to say Ramaset's going to win because he's got a natural 1-turner?
It's going to be difficult for the Bretonians, but all those inducements, though, those inducements are just gonna. What can they get again?
Well, I mean, that is enough to have.
Turn the tide.
No, I was thinking about Griff.
Yeah, definitely Griff.
But, you know.
I mean, Sunderland does have the Pom tackle blocker. He's got the Mighty Blow tackle, strength 4 blitzer. So if the two of them can do some work and get the other numbers thinned down, maybe it might not be so easy for Rama, but I don't know. It depends, right? It's like with the chores, where I was saying, right? Rama, although it wasn't the strategy he wanted to do. As long as players weren't flying off the pitch, he was able to just let Aldar run up for 8 turns, score, and then just 1 turn back. So when you've got that in your back pocket, unless you can kind of do something to try and stop it, or just remove players and stop the score in a normal drive, then you're a bit screwed, really.
Sandland mentioned that he was really missing his Mighty Blow Pom. His Pom wrestler even, and Jump Up too, who's obviously back now. Oh, hello, Calcium. Is your cat running across your keyboard? Bobby Bingtang says Rama has to not win at some point, and Sandland has to not lose at some point, which is a gambler's fallacy, but a great idea.
He's saying it might be a draw, which it could be, but I don't think it would be a draw. I don't think Ramsay would allow that.
I mean, basically, 1-turning, even with a natural 1-turner, is still a number of dice.
It fails sometimes, so yeah, that's why I think Rama's saying he doesn't want to rely on it, because it does fail.
Yeah. So yeah, you can't be sure that it'll work. You can't hang your entire game plan on it. You want to try and turn the other team over, and that's very hard because Sandland does play very tight. Or even without a killer in my game, when we were even players, it was hard to get good hits in and stuff. He plays well. I don't think he'll leave an easy shot for Rama to get to hit on the ball.
I think it'll be close, but I'm going to say Ramaset will probably just edge it.
I mean, unless this is the game where Ramaset gets the 1 in 36 into death on the 1-turner, which
Don't make me happy.
At some point you end up rolling so many 2+s with 1-turners, that you end up they end up dying through that. So hopefully this is the game, and that turns it all round, and he gets depressed, and then Sandland gets to win 3-0 back after last week, and Nuffle's favours are restored.
I think Sandland with the inducements could pull it off. I think he can, depending on what he gets, but he definitely has to get a wizard, and with that, he still has a lot more to go with. So
yeah, he's got what is it?
I'm going for the upset.
380. So he can't afford Griff if he gets a wizard, but I don't think Griff is really that worthwhile when you've got 2+ strength blitzers already. And there is a lot of options. You could get Gruff. Not Gruff. What's his name? Sug.
Oh yeah, you could.
Zug for a, not too expensive extra Mighty Blow block.
You get mercenary dirty player and bribes.
Oh, he hasn't got any dirty player yet. You're right. He probably should do that. Actually, is he? He's down to 11 players. Yeah.
Yeah, 11 players, because that gives him another player at least as well.
Does Rama have a Mighty Blow? No. So Rama's probably not going to do that well in terms of, well, might do, but can't hang his hat on removals. Or the Bretts don't need to worry too much about only having 12 or 13 players. I like the.
I think the only concern is just because he's got the strength for tackle catcher, so that means he can still get relatively easy hits on the blood step.
Yeah.
So if some of those start going off, then that really shifts things in Rama's favour.
Yeah. I was looking for Leap. I missed that one. But yeah, not going to be quite as useful in this game against a strength 4 ball carrier, but pretty strong. Okay. So we're all calling it in terms in Rama's favour.
Nope, I'm picking Bretonians.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're doing Brett's because you think Sanha's going to choose some good,
I think he's gonna have turn around his season right here.
Turn around for both.
I obviously can't say
with a big upset.
If Sandland wins, then that puts him above me. So
the real reason to pick one way. Oh well, the caster's curse. You should be picking for Ramaset to win because that makes it more likely that he won't. But anyway, Bobby's saying it's draw. It'll be interesting. Let's say I don't know, but I do think Ramaset has a big advantage just in that one turner. So next is your game, Shock and Gore against the Bobby Bingtane's Darkstar second liners. How do you think it's going to go, Gruff?
A loss to me.
You've got a fairly full team now, right? 13 players and almost 400 TV inducements.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I think I'm just going to struggle having no tackle, and with the IG6, he's got like the Mighty Blow tackle blitzer. Yeah, it's just going to be a nightmare really to try and cope with all that. Having seen how he played against Crystal and was just jumping into places and just dodging people through, I'm not sure really how I'm going to cope.
You need to get
pray for fouls.
You got 2 day player now, right? That's and so much inducement. You could,
but yeah, we'll see.
a few removals, and it's going to be a lot easier. He's only got 11 elves, and Sorry, so he's actually got 10 elves. So the TV difference is really 460.
Yeah,
that's a lot. But yeah. I'm actually going to say that you're going to win this because of good inducement choices. I'm not going to say what those good inducement choices are, but there must be one.
Yeah, I've got some ideas, but it's like I say. I mean, moving 8 Ag6 is just horrible, and having the Ag5 strength 4, which I just don't know really how you stop those.
Red dice uphill. She's got wrestle. Oh well, actually. Doesn't Bobby score quite quickly? So he doesn't normally hold on to the ball that long. I think against the Rats, he slowed it down, right? But I'm sure I've seen him before where he just goes for the score quickly and then defends out of choice type thing. Because it's a monster defending team, isn't it?
Yeah. But we'll see how it goes. I've got no expectations on myself for the rest of the season at this point, so
it's a rebuilding season.
Kind of quite nice.
Yeah,
it's quite nice to play without any sort of expectations, because then things happen.
You could crush the hopes of the ones hoping to get the playoffs. Just be that guy for the season.
Yeah, I am effectively the kingmaker of this division.
Who do I want to go to playoffs? This guy? No.
Yeah, what do you think, Woo? Who do you think's going to win this then? You think Dark Elves too?
I'm thinking Dark Elves too. I'm thinking all that leap is going to be a problem. Like leaping in and all that, it's going to cause some problems for you, Gruff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's built quite an interesting team. Just some of the skill picks are stuff that you don't always see on some Dark Elf teams and things. I mean, diving tackle is another concern. He's got stand firm on the one guy. It's just a really good team for defending and holding up teams.
Yeah.
So it will be tough to play against.
One stand firm blodge guard diving tackle and one blodge sidestep diving tackle are both, horrific things to face. Yeah.
Yeah.
A surprisingly little tackle. Only 2 tacklers. One of them the wrestler and one of the blitzers. But as much tackle as diving tackle and not on the same players. But anyway, not a complaint. Just interesting. And yeah, a lot of leaping players. It's a fairly scary team, basically. And talking of fairly scary teams, the next game is Ginny's Sugar Daddies, Lady Killjoy, against the Fly Lord Servants and the scary Nurgle. Actually, not that killy. Only 1 Claw Mighty Blow.
I mean, that's the thing. It surprised me a bit when I look at this team, because you see like close to 2,000 TV, and you think actually they're going to be really killing stuff, but all that TV is held up in stat ups.
Yeah. I don't know. A few well-leveled Nurgle warriors, but yeah, the plus strength, the 2+ agis, and the 2+ movements. Although one of the movements has been removed.
Yeah, which makes it even worse. It must be so horrible to have that.
But you can't get rid of it because Agi 4.
I don't know. 170 for basically a block. So basically, he's paying 170 for a Dark Elf Blitzer, a slow Dark Elf Blitzer.
That's a good point.
That's it. You wouldn't consider. You wouldn't get rid of it if it weren't for the fact he'd already got a movement 7, 2 heads, agi. So
yeah,
you can get rid of it because you've got that other pieces there. Because the one thing that when I look at his team, he's missing is where is the Killer Pesticle. So you get rid of that guy and build up a killer instead.
Well, the Killer Pesticle has been repeatedly killed by people he's faced. I think.
Or even just having a wrestle Pesticle would be nice.
He does have 4 Pesticles now, but the 4th one is unleveled so far. The thing that really surprised me is no dirty player. I'd have be even throwing vanity passes on the 2 rotters who are 1 SPP away just to get them dirty player. You want some. I like the Nurgle fouling game. I think that's an important thing. Stop your opponents moving and then put one person on the floor and foul them. And the fact he's got such a deep bench with this team suggests to me he needs some dirty player.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's necessarily the team that will handle the Dark Elves that well. Okay, he's got 2 tackles, so he can get a few down, but I can't see it being a big game of removals particularly.
And the Dark Elves do have, what's that going to be? 1660. So 330 TV. So they'll have a wizard, which, should be enough to stop the Nurgle drive. Whereas I don't know if the Nurgle can stop 3 Agi 5 elves.
I can imagine this match being Lady Killjoy, if played right, if just scoring quickly and just moving the ball around and just keeping out of the way of the Nurgle wherever he...
Yeah, same. As long I'd even consider, getting a bench with inducements to, to mitigate the possibility of getting too many removals against you. But a wizard and a couple of loners or something. I'd rather be I'd rather be in control of Lady Killjoy's team against this Nurgle team. I'd rather not play this game at all. Actually, no, that's where I'd be. But yeah, if I had to choose one side, I guess I'm gonna go for the Dark Elves.
Yeah, I think the same.
Yeah, Dark Elves.
Okay. And I guess the next game is the Lizards against against Alder's Chorfs, who got another draw, the 4th draw for the Lizards, and Aldar's 3rd draw. So we can't really talk about that very much. So let's move on. And the last game is Crystal Hunters Rats against Goblins.
Goblins.
You gonna say anything more about that, or is that just a fervent belief and hope and prayer that you want the
Goblins are gonna win this one.
Okay. Wait, I have a feeling, much like you picking the game of the week to be my game, you also there's a definite pattern in your picking of Goblins to win their games.
I like Goblins, and the way he held off the Nurgle last game,
Mm-hmm.
suffering about 9 casualties,
Mm-hmm.
and still ended up tying the game. I think that's amazing. So,
What do you think, Gruff?
Well, it's a bit of a tricky. So, I mean, you've got 2 coaches that they specialize in the teams that they're playing. So, Kiandera is, specialist Goblin. Crystal pretty much just plays Skaven, as far as I'm aware. So it'll be nice to see 2 kind of masters of their race facing off against each other. I'd probably say the Rats would be my favorite to win this, just because they can just run away from half of the Goblins' heavy hitters, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I think if the Rats play that game of just keeping away from anything that can do them any damage, then it should be a pretty straightforward win. If they do get bogged down and removals start to happen from the Goblins, getting rid of some Rats, then who knows? But I mean, it'll be weird because Kindera always has that threat of the one-turner, so they could just end up one-turning back and forth.
As I agree with both the comments. Thurnlau, who can't cheer for Goblins? Well, yeah, we can all cheer for them, but I'm firmly with Ramesset in that Skaven are about the worst matchup for Goblins. Basically, if Goblins get any more secret weapons, the Skaven score quickly, and they have to use up bribes. It's so hard for the Goblins to tie the Rats down, and this team, at the moment for this game has bench, which is even, and also Claw Mighty Bow piling on to even do damage to the trolls, and a tackle Mighty Blow for just generally removing Goblins. It is the worst possible matchup for Goblins. I do not. Sorry, Kianda. I've previously said a good coach can make draws, but this game is in my opinion unwinnable. If Kianda gets a draw out of this, I would be amazed. If he's not beaten 3 or 4-0, it's kind of surprising type thing. That's where I am with this matchup.
No, I definitely agree. Because even just looking at inducements, so the Goblins have got about 500, was it?
There's the Goblins still have 130. If I was them, I'd replace the Looney and get another Goblin to fill out the fill up the roster. It was to 14 players for this game.
But even with the inducement, there's not much that's going to really help against the rats, because normally in most of the games, Kinder has taken Ripper and Fez, but you're still in that same position against the rats of they're not really any use.
Yeah. Well, he did carry the ball on Morg against me, which might be a form of defense against this rat team.
True.
If he induces Morg and gets the ball on him, and then slowly wanders down the field, hoping to save his bribes to keep his secret weapons on the second half.
You could always just uphill 2-die wrestle strip.
I mean, the wrestle strip player would need 2 assists to get a 2-die. It's a -3 against Morg.
Okay, well, yeah. But still, it's a wrestle strip here.
Actually, no, it's only
against Morg, so.
It's only one. No, it only needs 1 assist. Sorry, I was wrong. But yeah, and Key and Dare can probably defend Morg with enough players to make it impossible to get the assist, and then 3-dicing Morg is yeah. I'm not sure that dwarfs are even the worst. If the goblins' secret weapons far off against dwarfs, the goblins have a chance, but it doesn't matter if you remove rats; they'll still run around you and still make it really hard. Yeah. Thinking about inducements and thinking about the idea of having Morg makes this game a little bit closer, but the thing is, Crystal Hunter's team isn't even that high TV, relative to the rest of the league, and Key and Dare couldn't even fit in Morg and 3 bribes in this game. He'd have to drop some bribes to get Morg in.
But also, again, there's the 1-turner as a factor in there. So, okay, the goblins score on Morg, but then the rats can just score back.
Mm.
So I don't know. I'd favour the rats, but I think Kinder will put up a good fight.
I mean, yeah. If he gets anything out of this game, I'll be very, very impressed with his skill level. I do not have high expectations. I mean, the 1-turner still needs a push, right? And the goblins can put strength, a very high strength, and 2 sidesteppers on the line, making the 1-turner practically impossible.
True, I'd forgotten he hasn't.
Although
got
one of the side
extra skills yet.
Yeah, one of the sidesteppers is the pogoer, which is slightly concerning. I wouldn't like to put the pogo on the line to stop 1 turn. Depends on the half, doesn't it? But anyway, does that conclude our draws for this week? Our comments for this week? Yeah, I think it does. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Okay. Well, thanks for joining me in the stream, both of you. Lord Wu, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ramset.
Glad I woke up in time.
Yeah. And thanks for everyone watching, and thanks Thurnlau for hanging around for a bit. I just want like 5 minutes to take the headphones off and like get some more water and stuff, because I'm very hungover and I just need a second and then I'll be ready. But yeah, I'll stream the game directly after this. So I hope that's okay. 5 minutes, please.
Anyone out there that hasn't been on should consider joining as a guest slot in future weeks.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to hear about you all and stuff. Okay, excellent. Thanks, Thurnlau. Okay. Yeah, and see. I'll be back in 5 minutes. But thank you all for the stream, and I'll see you all later.
All right. See you.
See you.